This episode of The Review was first broadcast on the 17th of March 2012 on Monocle 24.
Hello and welcome to The Review, live from Studio One here on Monocle 24 with me, Emma Nelson, and Sophie Grove.
Coming up on today's programme, we'll find out what booksellers are seeing flying off their shelves in bookshops in Sao Paulo, Dubai and Glasgow.
It's not old-fashioned looking in the sense that it's all dark wood and everything, but there are books. Higgledy-piggledy, I think is the word.
We'll also be listening to some new music, courtesy of Thomas Young from Iceland Music Export.
And we'll be flicking through the pages of our favourite magazines with Will Hudson, editor of It's Nice That.
All that to come right here on The Review on Monocle 24. Now, I'm afraid we must move away from the subject of It's Nice That. Although I could sit here and it's another magazine, but I find myself stroking the magazine again. It's that usual problem that I always have. What have you brought in to tell that you want us to read about at the moment?
Well, there's one that I want you to read about, and then there's one that I guess is more of a talking point than.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a minute.
So the Green Soccer Journal is the first one that I picked, more
Sophie,
because
could
I
you
think
pass
it's.
Thank you.
I think it's. I like it because it's a football magazine, but it's designed by designers and edited by sort of people with design sensibility. I think all too often you sort of go to the magazine section of newsstands and you just look at design magazine after design magazine, and this actually is a little bit different. It's a little bit more considered. I think the way the photography sort of represents football, the content, it's just different, and I like that about it.
The photography is absolutely beautiful, it has to be said. I mean, the way that some of the football pictures are shot, and there's completely sort of symmetrical, wonderful angles that you just never see that in sport photography. It's usually about, people, I mean, understandably, kicking balls around. But this is so, the artistic sensibilities are so original and interesting. Do you think, who are these guys? I mean, they must be football lovers with a very creative bent.
I don't know too much about the guys behind it. From what I know, it's a studio called Junior, and it's designed, edited, published by those guys. It's, I guess, similar to us. It's a small team of people who have got a real sort of passion for what it is that they're doing. But I think you're right. It's across the board. It works. It's the layout and the typography. It's the photographers they work with. It's the illustrators they work with. The actual content. It has good features. They're not the things that you're going to find in the pages of Match magazine or 442. It's a football magazine with a difference,
again,
and that's why I think it works.
You step back from the immediacy of football, which obviously is always sort of results driven and is hungry for the next match and next encounter. But this actually lets you step back and place a little bit of context.
Definitely, and I think again, I don't want to draw too many parallels between this and what we do, but I think it's not about the sort of the current. It allows a sort of a slightly different angle on football. You're right. It's not a report from the weekend's game. It's not sort of looking ahead.
And it's quite cerebral in the way it's written. I mean, for sport, it's clever. It's kind of play on words. It's kind of poetic in places. Do you think that they're appealing to an audience of people who take their sport so seriously in that as an art form?
Great question. I honestly don't know. I think there's. I don't know. I don't know who picks up this magazine. I don't know if it's designers who have an interest in sport. I don't know if it's football fans who can appreciate good design. I don't know if. I think the cover. It's obviously a football magazine, but you only have to sort of look at a few pages to understand it's not your standard football magazine.
Well, we have to move on, I'm afraid, from these lovely, cerebral, poetic creations to something else that you've brought in. Tell us what we are very short of time, so you're going to have to.